live. All right, guys, we are back with another game. This time it's going to be Team Gold Fury versus Team Cupid. Returning
Cupid!
Oh, God, please no.
That's pretty good.
I want a new voice pack with Pecky's actually voicing the next Cupid.
I would love to do that.
So, the return of an Arachne, though.
And Cupid's voice packs together.
I mean, this
Not fun.
Athena
Stop
should...
talking, Weekend.
This Athena could potentially die. Someone needs to do something there. I feel like there could have been a slow... I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not really sure anything would have came out of that. She had her dash leveled up.
I think they could have easily comboed her there. I mean, if the Arachne tossed out her slow with her webs, and then the Hercules leveled up his Earthbreaker, that should have been a free level 1 kill. But it seemed like no one on blue team wanted to initiate that.
Yeah.
I don't think they knew where the other team was, to be honest with you, and that can be a scary factor at level 1.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. You know, this is kind of the exact opposite that we've seen in all the Combine games. There's really not any wards coming out from either team, really. We see the red team putting down the 1 ward by blue. I don't know if I necessarily like that ward there. It shows you if they're going to invade your blue buff, right? But it doesn't show you where they're starting and what you could do. So it's a more defensive ward than an aggressive ward. Pretty standard start coming out from both teams, nothing out of the ordinary. We're going to see Athena go mid.
There we go. This is the right decision. I mean, you have
Yes.
Hercules, Arachne. You have to fight this.
Yes, definitely.
Like, just go. Like, they already know you're there. Just force them off of it and fight them.
Yeah, you just steal the blue here. You have to be really careful, though.
Just make sure, yeah, they're
Good
great.
double
And now
hog.
they're level 2 also.
We do
there's-
see the webs come out.
He's just going to poke him. Obviously, the chalk will get away, but
Oh, good pull.
great combo. The Arachne wasn't even expecting it.
Yeah, there was really not too much threat with land minions already being there. They would have taken more damage than they could have put out. So, you know, they made the right call by poking and backing out, definitely.
Herc Arachne is incredibly scary early. Like,
Yeah, I would have liked to see the Arachne throw spiders down on the creeps and leave the lane instantly, though.
Yeah,
They already took the blue. He could look at taking the red and just completely taking everything away from this nemesis.
yeah, definitely. At least he definitely needs to leave the solo lane right here. He's going to go put his spiders onto the nemesis for some reason, take a lot of minion damage.
he's taking way too
Wow.
much poke from creeps.
Kill streak
Yeah, that's a
playing that.
fault a lot of players have. They like to fight too early, and that's not what the game is necessarily about early.
Was his driving strike up there? He like pulled the nemesis away, but I would have
Uh-huh.
rather seen a stun under tower.
I don't think it was up yet.
Okay,
think
I
that's
didn't
frozen,
think so either. Because otherwise they wouldn't have made that decision. I
though. Oh
don't
yeah,
think.
they definitely could have probably gotten a kill right there. You know, this Arachne is not looking to be aggressive, and it's a really big surprise to me. They took the blue buff. It seemed like they wanted to come out swinging, but they backed off real quick.
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna see blue team going to their red buff right now. They're not gonna really miss out on too much lane XP here. Red team is gonna go ahead and clear this, and then I would like to see them go for their own red buff, and then, you know, maybe look to fight on the speed during the next mid wave. Nox taking the long way, very safe, knowing that, you know, if they stayed in mid, they could have challenged her right there when she tried to rotate back in. So just very smart play coming out from the Nox to make sure she's not putting herself out of position.
I think the Agni and the Nemesis should have rotated into the other team's speed. He should have recognized that the blue buff was still up and not done, and that's more likely where the players would be.
Yeah, very true. That's something that I might not have thought about, and that could have really shut down this Arachne. She's already a little bit behind, right? Because she just didn't rotate out early and didn't get the control she needed to start snowballing herself into mid game.
I like this decision by blue team to just poke out this Athena before mid camps happen. That way she's not going to be there. But
Wow.
Rom is taking a lot of return poke as well. That shouldn't matter too much, unless the nemesis had been rotating in, and they don't have wards, so that could have happened.
I like the back coming out from Agni here. He backed, and he's going to be able to get there in time for mid camps. He's got a little bit of extra damage now. Actually, no, he doesn't, because he only picked up boots 1. I lied. But he's going to have full health and full mana, so that...
Athena just needs to back now.
Makes all
She's
sense.
5. She needs to back and then get to mid camps with
Yeah,
ultimate
she
and
could back
force
and
a
ult in
fight.
very easily.
That is exactly what she's doing. She's going to go ahead and back.
I'd like to see this nemesis just go on.
And
Yeah.
here's the all good bomb coming out, no stun to follow up. A lot of damage coming out onto Arachne. Good Geb ult to keep him away. Now Nem is in a lot of trouble as a great Nox ult will
So-
put out a lot of damage.
I think that was a great idea, poorly executed by red team.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw the Athena, like we both called it, like she needs to back and they need to force the fight with the Athena Nemesis ult combo. the Athena ulted the Nemesis, and the Nemesis kind of just sat there.
Yeah.
She ulted Geb, but then she didn't go in. She was a little bit too scared.
Right.
And I think that was the poor decision.
The issue there was poor targeting. They should have targeted the Nox, who had no way of getting away.
I agree.
They chose the Arachne, I believe, or even the Geb. Both of those targets are not good targets, assuming their ults are up.
Yeah, CV played that pretty well. You know, the Geb ult into the Nox ult really picked off the target quickly, and now it's going to come down to, will they take this early lead and start to roll with it? The Arachne has that kill. She's, you know, ahead of the Nem.
I like what this Herc is doing. He has no intention of counter jungling the speed by himself,
Right.
but he's just putting himself there so the Nemesis is delaying her farm. She's only level 5 to begin with, and he's just sitting there. It's like, you're not going to get your speed, because if you start it, I'm going to walk up and challenge it.
Yeah, you notice
Even
right
this-
there, he
even this blue.
tagged the wave, and now he's rotating the blue buff. He does steal it.
He needs to
Great
be
play.
careful, though. I mean,
He should
I
be
get
okay with
the
your
Arachne's
Arachne.
in lane, or the Agni's in lane, so they know he's not rotating. That was great decision by
They
by
should
him.
go straight to speed right now.
They need to be careful this Agni rotation, though. Puckham might be in trouble here. The Nemesis ult's going to come out. It's going to be enough damage to pick him up before he could even get the ultimate out. Good play.
Yeah, I mean, that's not necessarily the Nox's fault. Agni was just in a better position to rotate to
Right.
that. I mean, the Nox can't just walk in there without risking losing too much experience or getting picked.
Yeah, I mean, that's really the big thing is, like, if she wanted to rotate in the same path as Agni, she was going to have to follow him. It's very easy for an Agni to use an Athena ult and just sort of pick that Nox, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, for me, the Nox is actually playing really well. She's been splitting every camp just about with the jungler, and you can see with the XP lead, even after the Agni's rotation into a kill, the Nox is a higher level.
Definitely. Nox is definitely playing this game to my liking. Very good rotations to, like, the mid-camp fights.
Yeah, she's got an extremely high XP per minute, and even now
Yeah.
she's going to these back harpies, and then she'll probably tag this red, go to wave, and then come and pick it up, is what I imagine her to do.
Yeah, definitely. Even though getting out-rotated, for me, I think the Nox is playing at a higher level than this Agni.
For sure. This duel lane's been
I really-
kind of just back and forth. A lot of poke coming out from both, which isn't common. Normally you'll see one team pushed under the tower and just trying to outfarm, but both of these ADCs and supports have been very aggressive.
Yeah, definitely.
The Arachne and the Nox are making a misplay right here, in my opinion. The mid camps are staggered, and they aren't here to help this Geb.
Yeah, he should die. He's trying to juke, but yeah, he tried to secure those. He probably should have realized, and we did have a kill over and left. We're going to rewind that one, but I feel like he probably should have realized that his team wasn't there. He just needs to back off and not even contest these. But it was the right decision for him to be there. It wasn't the right decision at that point in time, though.
Yeah, I agree.
So we're just going to see these hunters duel after Geb rotates. And I mean, Rom just has a better fight here. Honestly, like, his ultimate is Apollo has one of the weaker ultimates, if not actually he has the weakest ultimate for dueling, because it has so much startup time and you can read it so well. Whereas Rom's just has that instant ult, and he doesn't even use. Oh, he does use it here. That's just him having an ultimate and Apollo not, basically.
You know, the Apollo positioned himself really far forward in
Mhm.
the lane and didn't use his own creeps, which I would have liked to see.
Yeah, definitely.
It's really it's a fun time to duel as a hunter if you use your creeps and you're dodging in between them. You can really turn that duel around really easily.
Yeah, so we see it's 2-2 and almost a 2K gold lead in favor of the blue team here. As a red team, what do you have to do to start sort of coming back? Like, what can you individually do as a player to help your team come back from a situation like this?
You know, I just want to see the Nemesis start doing what Nemesis does. She's a walking alt stick and is meant to insta-kill targets, especially on top of 3 Agni bombs. You should be picking people. They should maybe throw a counter ward somewhere down that they want to invade through and look to gank. Middle lane especially, considering this Nox is still ahead on gold. After, like, she has no kills. She's one of
And the
6
Agni
she's
has
ahead on
2.
gold. It's
I mean,
ridiculous.
Like, right there, they probably could have engaged.
Oh yeah, definitely.
With
But
the Athena
Nox
ult
has
up.
no mobility. And Nox is free kills to me. I mean, it's a very scary god to go against and can do a lot of damage, but if you play correctly, it's easy kills.
Yeah, and especially against Agni. Agni is incredibly good against her. So, you know, you have your Scylla, your Kukulkans, Poseidons, all with these huge instant burst ultimates that Nox's her Shadow Barrier just kind of counters. But against an Agni who has his ult is multiple things, he has a tick on his Path of Flames, and also his passive is a burn. There's so many ways to just free burn that Shadow Barrier that you're just gonna have the damage. She can't immune all the damage like she can other burst mages.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I completely agree. We've been talking a lot about these mid players, these solo laners, and I really just feel like none of these junglers have taken it to the point where they're controlling the game. And that's something that's way more common in the competitive scene, even the Challengers League. You see the junglers be the main focus, and that's what I'm looking for.
They really drive the pace of the game early.
Yeah, and so far we've seen those individual players coming out in, you know, the solo.
So the Agni
that's
dashed
starting.
here. This could be dangerous for him. I don't really like the decision to dash when he was already so close to that
You know,
fight.
he did that last fight too. Is he dashed to try to get closer, which if you're late, you're late. Using your escape might put you in even more trouble.
Yeah, especially if you're losing the fight because you're late to begin with. They can easily turn on you if they had a ward there. They recognize that because much like I mean, you become a Nox basically. Like you become a Nox without as much damage to deal with people.
You know, in this situation where you see a huge rotation into the solo lane, as a Geb and a Rama, especially that are winning the lane, you should be looking at Gold Furies.
Yeah, definitely.
At the highest level, that is where, as soon as you see an Athena ult across the map, you go straight to Gold Fury.
Here's the thing too, even if they recognize it and come to stop, that at least is pulling pressure off of that solo lane. It's allowing
If they play it correctly, the fight in solo lane, you have time to do the Gold Fury. The Apollo would be the one you'd break it up, but he's behind. So
Right.
you could kill him and take Gold Fury.
Yep.
It's much more scary when if that Apollo were at the same farm or same level or whatever, but he's not. So it's something I really would have liked to see.
Okay. So we have the Nox in mid lane right now. There's a little bit of a skirmish going down at the right mid camps. Rom with a
This
good ult
Rama.
is gonna pick up. The
Yeah,
kill
let
on
me
the
watch
back.
that. I feel like the Agni kind of just stood there. It looked like he like.
He was slowed. He was slowed by spiders.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, he was on the web. Now I see that.
I like how this Rama is not afraid to use his ult though, and he really hasn't been missing it.
Which is, you know, it's not the easiest. I mean, the first tick is pretty easy to hit. Yeah, he was just slowed. There was nowhere for him to go. He was gonna die to spiders, regardless of
More
Rom
than
hitting
likely,
those.
yeah. You know, as Incon says, it's kill securing, and if your ADCs get in the farm, it's a good thing.
There you go. Incon king of kill steal. I mean secures.
All right, that is just a little too far. I mean, he's just playing his role how
He
it's meant to be
he just
played.
does the most damage of any support player at all, and has the most kills. So, but his assists are pretty high too. All right, it looks like we do have the coach for this. This is Galaria, I believe. I believe you're an EU player. I haven't seen you too much, but you are a Masters ranked player, correct?
No, I'm NA.
Oh, you're NA.
I haven't been playing ranked a lot right now.
Okay.
I
So how did you feel these teams did? Was there any standout players for you?
I feel the standout players this game were Atrelix the Rom and CV the Nox.
Okay.
Okay.
As a jungler, I feel like Arachne could have done a lot more considering how far ahead she was. She should have like centered the upper gold mid Furies and like really just camped the Agony considering he was the only one on Team Cupid like really doing anything. And she was farming a lot and she got good damage out, but I just feel like she didn't put enough like pressure in mid.
Okay. Was there anyone else? Like what did you like about the ROM and the Nox so much?
The Nox just had amazing ults and silences throughout the whole game. She like really dictated the team fights, and the Rom just completely shut down the Apollo like the whole game. And like he made sure like he couldn't do much, and like his ults like were amazing and secured so many kills.
Okay. It looks like the solo lane was a bit of a slapfest. I'm noticing. I'm just looking at this now because we haven't really looked over it too much. The Herc's 0-2, and 500 gold ahead of the Chalk that's 0-0-2. How did these players translate to late game? And I mean, Pokemon the Herc 0-2, but still 500 gold ahead. How did he do late game?
Late game, I feel like early game, like around 10 minutes, like the mid game, he overextended a bit in invade, so he got picked off. But late game, he had some really good pulls and pushes that really set the fights. Like, that really won them some of the fights. Like at the last fight at the Mid Phoenix, where he pulled 2 and like
Okay.
they killed the. I forget who they killed, but it was really really good.
Okay,
I just
awesome.
feel like he needs to work on his he needs not to overextend so much in the laning phase.
Okay, yeah, he seemed very aggressive, always trying to force the enemy's blue. And while you were talking on screen, we actually saw just what Weekend was talking about. This time, blue team rotated to that soul lane, and red team immediately 4-man went and secured Gold Fury, allowing themselves to really get back in the game.
Oh yeah, that could have been a turning point in the game, but then the red team overstayed, and so they like lost 3 people while only getting the gold and well, they got gold and Geb, I think.
Yeah,
Correct,
and it
yeah.
looks like they lost 3 for it though. All right, Galaria. So it looks like the standout players were Rom and the Nox. You feel the same way, Weekend?
Yeah, if I was looking to pick up a player right now, I'd be looking at the Nox 100%, and then the Rama would be at the back of my mind.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Galaria. We'll let you get back to coaching some, and we'll be back very shortly with the next game, guys. And welcome back, guys, to another match. It's Team Kumbhakarna taking on Team Ares. Tired, Peckies?
Yeah, dude, I was helping you be Kumbhakarna.
Oh, thank you. Very, very well done. So we're going to see another Sylvanas here at Hunbats, who we actually don't see too often. Another Nox returning to mid and a Wheelix, and they do have 2 knockups to combo with the Wheelix, which really you can't play her, I feel, without someone on your team to help combo that.
Yeah, she's got the 2 knockups to help out. So, they have 3 knockups altogether on this one team. Definitely going to be pretty scary for the blue team if anybody gets caught by one of those knockups. It's going to be a pretty easy pick. We saw the grouping come out to get the wards. It's really good to see. A lot of times in ranked play, you don't even see people group up to put down wards because people are just like, whatever, don't get caught.
Yeah, that's something I've been pretty happy with the Combine last weekend and this weekend, is that the players are grouping up. They're showing that they're definitely here to play competitive.
Yeah, definitely. They're working together as a team, and that's what it's all about, right? And seeing which one of these players not only has an individual skill, but the team skill and team mechanics to play at that next level.
I forgot to ask about communication last game. Rip.
I hate you.
All right, Weekend. So how do you feel about a Wheelix right now?
She's strong on the current live meta. I'm not sure how she's going to fall into this PTS, honestly, coming up. I mean, in this match right here, you said 2 knockups. That puts you at a huge advantage. If you're playing without any knockups on your team, it can be kind of difficult, but she's very strong. If this player is playing correctly, she's one of the strongest junglers, honestly.
How do you feel about, like, I don't know how much time you've practiced with her. How do you feel about her matchup against Hunbats?
It's good. Anyone with a leap, if you're using all your abilities correctly, you're going to destroy them. The damage from the 2 is underestimated. It's really, really high as long as you're comboing it right.
I don't know how I feel about that Hunbats.
Turning on this Hunbat.
Yeah,
the damage is insane.
that Hunbats jumped in. They did have pressure on the wave though, and that's the only reason he really got away with that.
I think he needed to jump in to help out the Vamana there, and it was the right decision.
This Herc's really getting poked out pretty hard.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the trouble. Like I mentioned in a game earlier, you're fighting on Herc before level 3, and it almost never turns out in your favor.
Right.
It's not worth the risk is what it comes down to. But this Herc is just
definitely.
tanking creeps. I mean, that's kind of iffy.
I'm pretty sure this Wheelix just missed almost that entire wave.
Yeah, that was kind of a poor
Yep.
time to back, or excuse me, rotate. You always want to fast clear a wave and then rotate, and if the other jungler is out clearing you, then you have to stay for that wave.
But I don't think she tagged it either, is what the
No, yeah, something I stress a lot as a jungler. You have to time me when you leave the lane correctly.
Hunbots is
Kristen
going
Bay
to
was a
jump
poor
on the
choice.
red buff.
The jump straight up was another poor choice. That should be a death.
Ooh. Good punishment there from the red team to make sure Hunbots did not get away with that. He could have very easily jumped over red and gotten away.
And look at this Scylla. She rotated not only late, but she's also dragging creeps with her to the Gold Fury. They just feel like jousting the Gold Fury right now.
Yeah, they should definitely go just start Gold Fury.
She's gonna miss those 3 creeps also.
Yeah.
It's going to hurt a little bit. Scylla's going to be a little bit behind. She's not going to be getting her red buff for a little bit. She's going to have to clear this wave and rotate to speed if she wants to try to even come close to catching up to Nox. We see the gank coming out from a Wheelix here. She's on her Panther. She's not going to look for it. I'm sad.
Yeah, so that was a pretty poor decision by Geb coming back in the lane. He actually came underneath the Sylvanas and Apollo there, and he didn't die for it, but he took an incredible amount of poke just before mid camps, and there really wasn't much of a need for it. He could have went around, would have missed a creep or two, but not taken any poke, and because of that, Humbats is going to rotate in and actually pick him up because he's so low.
That's no awareness coming out of your duo lane. The speed buff is always up. You know around that time, right before mid-Harkey, the jungler's on that side of the map. You have to really play passive.
You know, this Humbots is not afraid to fight, and I sort of like that about him, right? He had no mana. He knew the Sylvanas was rotating, so he decided, I'm just going to sit here and fight you and hope that you use your escapes to try to DPS me, and then we're going to kill you anyways.
Ooh, that Scylla detonated her crush. That was poor communication. Meanwhile, we'll take a look at that kill later. Let's see this mid-camp fight. And I like this decision by Humbats to back off there. He knew if he stayed and got hit by one more ability with that stun also there from Nox that he would have died. And he immediately came back in, too. So after the stun had finished, he realized his team was winning the fight and rotated back in. He didn't just back straight off. All right, let's take a look at the Hercules kill, though, real quick. So I think he's just been pressured this entire time because he was low to begin with. And we might actually see a dive coming out. I mean, this Herc just needs to back and give up a wave at this point, I think. His ult is available. That he just needs to ult, clear the wave, and then back.
Yeah, definitely. You would see a lot of players back and get the teleport and not even miss any creeps.
He's just tanking. He's just tanking creeps. And
Yeah,
he
it's
used his
pretty-
boulder, which planted him in place. And then he just took all the damage. Because there is that second where you're standing there using the bolt. That was just poor decision making from Hercules.
Yeah, you know, looking back at that that mid-camp fight, I don't like the Scylla play coming out. Even though she got the kill, she got it because of the misplay coming out from Taco Bell on Awelix. Awelix walked back into the Amma Monster when Scylla was trying to hit Nox. So I think that wasn't necessarily a well-placed Scylla ult. That was a misplay by Awelix there, allowing Scylla to pick up that kill.
I agree. I do feel like the blue team should have followed them to those other mid-Harkeys, though. That
I agree.
was an easy pick off for them.
I
They
think
could've
the
just done that,
Humbats
like,
wanted. You saw if you looked at Humbats' positioning, I think he wanted to, but the rest of the team wasn't there. Like this Humbats, like Pecky said, just wants to fight all the time right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not necessarily a bad thing either. His ideas are there. He
Yeah,
just
no,
needs to convert.
I agree.
He is 2 levels ahead of the Awelix. How did that happen?
Especially considering that she didn't get the kill on the Humbats at the red, but she got an assist for it, and he died early.
It comes down to that early. Remember how we were talking, the Awelix didn't tag the wave, or you didn't
Yeah.
even get XP from a full wave. The Humbats got XP from that wave and a middle wave, and then did go into red and die, but he just came right back, did speed, got a kill.
Right.
All those things add up real quickly. People don't realize that out of the jungle. If you aren't doing things correctly, you fall behind real fast.
Yeah, and that's something I emphasized heavily yesterday, or excuse me, not yesterday, last week, was the fact that early on, that experience is way more important than your gold, because you're not, you have your first spikes are your level 5 and just being a level or 2 ahead of the enemy jungler, and then it's penetration boots. So it's pin boots and your levels, and if you're 2 or 3 levels behind, it's just a really bad place to be.
Definitely. I feel like this Lamana could easily 1v2 right here. I don't know why he's backing off.
Yeah, and he had the rotation from Scylla coming out way before the Nox. Scylla's going to be forced to use Amma Monster,
That is
which
poor pathing. So that's a path I was talking about. I mean, I guess it would have been okay pathing if the Vamana had kept up the fight, but when you're rotating in, you always want to be careful about doing that path, because you're going to be followed by the enemy mid laner and get pinched by the solo laner.
Yeah. So again, this Hunboss is just, he's starting to grow on me more and more. He's really playing aggressive, and I don't think Red Team really knows what to do against it. He's having well-placed ults. He's jumping on the targets for the slows, and they're just not answering it.
You know, that's one thing
for
that
me,
you can finish weekend.
for me, we've talked about his decision making is there, but it's also on Red Team's part to take advantage of him. He's actually out of position. There's a lot of times where they should turn on him and kill him, and he's just left alone to do what he wants. So I like his ideas. I don't like the Red Team's counter ganking, counter fighting.
But I mean, that's also part of it too. I think not so. I agree with you, but at the same time is sometimes you want to abuse those teams who are scared of you. I mean, at the highest level with even teams, you're not going to want to do that because those teams are going to recognize that they can fight you. But if the enemy team is scared and they're showing it and they're backing off each fight, wouldn't you continue that aggression?
Oh yeah, 100%. That's why I'm saying his decision making is perfect. It's spot on for this team and this situation. So I do like it. I'm just saying I would love to see this red team kind of
Counteract it. Yeah.
All right. We're around 7 minutes now. Blue team they're ahead by 3 kills. The XP and gold difference it really isn't there, right? That we've seen in past games where the kills were kind of even. They have a slight gold lead. What does his Hunbots need to do right now to take them into the mid game?
I mean, before you say that, I mean, they have an 800 gold lead, and it's basically on Hunbats. Like, he is individually 700 gold ahead of the Awilix. So, like, the rest of the team isn't really getting that far ahead, even though they are up 4-0 or 4-1.
Here's the scary thing in that situation. You just told me the Hunbats has almost all of the lead. So if he makes one misplay here, that could result in a Gold Fury and all the lead's gone.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing that can be very bad about putting all your farm on one player, especially this early in the game, because one Gold Fury changes the whole match. That first Gold Fury could determine this match.
For sure.
So if he really wants to come out ahead, he needs to make sure his next ult is not misplaced and it guarantees a kill and possibly leads into that Gold Fury to get his entire team ahead.
Yeah, definitely. So we're gonna see them grouping up for this Gold Fury here, and Geb has his rollout down. Nox is gonna get picked off really early here. They need to look to kill this Geb. Good Alma Monster coming out. Another good Alma Monster coming out. Not gonna be able to pick up a kill. Heart Bomb from Cupid is gonna be enough.
I like Cupid ult.
Yeah, that Cupid just did a lot for the team. Unfortunately, he's low on mana. He needs to just back out here and make sure that they can't go for Gold Fury.
You know, I think he kind of already made sure that happened, though. I mean, look at how low they are. That play alone, the placement of his ult, just saved them Gold Fury.
Yeah, definitely. So they're not going to be able to go for this Gold Fury. They're going to be forced to back. Would have been crazy for him to start Gold Fury there.
I don't know if he could have finished it in time. I think maybe right about now when his team is making its way there, they could possibly go for it, but if Hunbat's ult, they don't know if it's coming back or not, so it's a scary situation.
Yeah, definitely. All right, I could respect that decision there. We're going to see Cupid just go for his blue buff safely. Mid camps are getting ready to come up. Cupid's not going to be able to rotate to him. He's going to have to back and get some of his mana. We're going to see Apollo just be able to push up this lane a little bit. I would like to see him rotate mid and maybe look for another fight after getting all this lane control. Hunbots is going to be in a pretty good spot. They got that mid camps. He's probably going to look for the fight on right. Awilix not really in position to do anything in mid at all.
No, for me, it's pretty apparent that the Awilix pick was not the best pickup for this player.
Maybe it came down to he was picking it for his team. Great Nox ult coming out, and Hunbots is going to be able to pick this up. Excuse me, not Hunbots. Awilix should be able to clean that up. Not able to find anything. I'm a monster to come out, hit nobody. Now Awilix in a lot of trouble.
Oh, hit by the boulder.
Hunbots just got smacked by the boulder.
Yeah, that boulder really came crushing through. So good rotation by Hercules, though.
Yeah, definitely. He's there in position. Vamana is coming in mid lane. He's a little low on mana, so they're just probably not gonna be able to find Gold Fury or get anything out of that. So they're gonna go ahead and just push mid. Good Cupid Heart Bomb. Ugh. Yeah, these the Cupid ults are really keeping them in this game, right? They're kind of far behind, but the Cupid is just hitting everybody and really putting out a lot of damage here.
You know, if this Awilix steps up her play, and really in that last fight before the Hurt got there, she was just kind of running around doing nothing on Suku. If she can start putting out some damage, I really think they could turn a team fight. Yeah,
definitely. I'm really, so far the two players that are just drawing my attention are this Cupid and the Hunbots.
Yeah, 100%.
They just keep doing plays that are keeping their teams in this game. And that's for both teams. Like Hunbots, great ults, are finding the picks. He's putting out tons of damage. Cupid, great ults, putting out the damage, making sure his team isn't giving up objectives for free. Just overall, pretty good play coming out.
You know, I'm a little surprised. I mean, if looking over this solo lane, we haven't really talked about it too much. I mean, the Vamana got that kill on Hercules early, but he's still getting out-farmed. Like, it's not much. It's only about 100 gold, but I feel like he should be much further ahead, especially considering how long the Herc stayed in that solo lane at the start of the game at such low HP.
He's also behind on XP.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why he's so far behind.
I'm not sure either. If the Herc has been rotating, that could be it, or leeching, but I really am not sure exactly why that happened. Didn't he lose his move buff early?
Oh, what happened?
Second move buff? I think he might have. Vamana might have lost his second move buff.
It's possible. But we do have one of the scouts for this game, Bob Goalie. He's gonna be here. Doesn't look like there's gonna be too much to this fight. Let's watch it play out first. Bob Goalie, though, who really shined for you in these games?
Definitely the Humbots. He really, like, I was questioning it early because he had that bad invade on red and he died.
Right.
But he really had some clutch ults and he brought it back really well. Also, Jamie Rocks, the Cupid.
Mm-hmm.
The Cupid was an interesting pick, and we talked to Jamie after the game, and apparently what I was worried about with the Cupid pick was that might be the only character Jamie can play.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it was brought out, but yeah, it worked out pretty well, and apparently
Did she say she could play other?
Has other characters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I mean the Cupid play was pretty phenomenal actually, and really just well placed ults, and that's sometimes kind of hard to do with the Cupid. Actives could counter that ult pretty easily. You know, there's a bunch of ults that make you CC immune that you could get out of that with. But the Cupid was always finding the right time to use it and really avoided giving stuff up with it. Overall, pretty good play coming out from Cupid. Definitely agree with the Hunbot's choice there. It was the same thing. Like, we saw him invade early, and then the poor choice to jump up and down onto the red buff. And then he got rotated out and died. He did a really good job of coming back from that and had really well-placed ults, found the picks he needed, and really helped Blue Team take control of the game.
How did you feel about this Scylla? I mean, I haven't watched her too much, but just looking at her slash run right now, she's 4-1-4. Team has 10 kills, so she's definitely been a part of basically everything. Next to the Hanbats, who's 3-2-6. How do you feel like the Scylla did early? How well did she translate into late game? Do you see anything that you really felt like this is a player I could potentially pick up on a team?
Yeah. So the Scylla, the biggest thing about the Scylla was that she was very consistent throughout the whole game with her ults. She hit almost every single fight a good ult. Whether it got the kill or not, it set up a kill. Yeah, and the only thing about it was the build. I sort of disagreed with. It's good early damage to like pick up the Bancroft talent fast, but I think some stacking items would have benefited a lot more.
Okay.
You know, right now we see the solo lane dive coming out. Scylla uses Alma Monster to pick up a kill there after missing a couple of her early abilities. That was a great play from the Scylla, but I really have to give that one to Vamana there, and he's just controlling this Hercules. Yeah. Did that continue throughout the whole game?
The Vamana did a really great job against Herc. It was kind of surprising to see some of those early solo kills coming out.
Yeah.
Because the double bruiser lane would usually be a very boring, no one dies lane. If you know what I mean.
Can we roll that back one time? We see an invade here. It wasn't even an invade. It was a straight fight.
No, they were invading the red. But they all kind of grouped up, and Red Team did a great job as a team to rotate. You can even see the Oelix trying to back there, and then she actually cancels it. The team actually decides that they need to fight this. And right here you see Zigaz come out and just hit a two-man ulti. I guess it was a one. It looked like the Geb or the Sylvanas was going to hit by it. I guess not.
So Cupid goes ahead and just dashes forward. They see Sylvanas is out of position now. Really has nowhere to go, and they're going to find a pick on him with ease here.
In my opinion here, they should have fought. They have a 5k gold lead, and they have a Hunbot's ult.
I agree.
And Sylvanas ult. I think they should have fought and not been so scared.
Yeah, I mean, even with the 4v3 there?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look at the level advantage alone on top of the gold advantage, on top of
Apollo had ult
major
too.
team fight ults. Yeah, I really feel like they should have fought. They could have helped Sylvanas a lot. I mean, they're not going to lose anything because of it, but that was a misplay.
So we have our two picks for this game. You know, the Hunbots and the Cupid. We're about 16 minutes in now. Does red team start to come back, or does blue team just take control of this game?
Bob goalie.
Well, yeah, I think Team Ares definitely dug themselves into a pretty big hole.
Mm-hmm.
If the red team does a great job of like holding onto the lead, and like I was talking about with Scylla, staying consistent, hitting those good ults, keeping themselves relevant.
Okay.
I do want to talk about something that just happened in left lane. The Apollo made a very poor life decision. He made an incredibly poor life decision. He actually ulted away as Geb had rolled out into his lane, and he decided to go back in 2v1 against a Cupid Geb with his ultimate, and he just died. Like, there was no one on the map was there to help him out and rotate, and also he didn't have enough damage. He doesn't have enough damage online to be able to burst that Cupid in between his creeps and the Geb.
Yeah. Cupid, right there, that was a really big fight in mid too. Hunbot's doing a great job. Scylla doing a great job. The longer this game goes on, the more and more I'm seeing Scylla hit I'm a Monster. Definitely a player to keep an eye out
I
for.
will say with this Scylla that she is... They're very confident in hitting their abilities. Even though they miss it, there's the Sickums into instant crushes, and she's just expecting to hit them. She doesn't, but there's confidence in that play, and then if she can really come and maybe hit these a little bit more often, I think she could develop into a really good player. But that's going to be it. Thank you, Bob Golig. Let you get back to scouting. We'll be back with another game here very shortly. All right, guys, welcome back. Once again, we are into another game. This will be our last game for the 1 o'clocks, and we'll start working on the 2 o'clocks. Team Agni versus Team Awelix.
They call me Swagner.
Please don't.
I'm just doing it every game.
Raymond Pecky, please don't.
I gotta throw
I'm
out.
All right, we're canceling
voice
Combine.
packs.
We're done. So right away we see red team grouping up here. Blue team kind of just spread out. The Rom's not paying attention. He definitely needs to be telling this Geb to get back or back right
There's
now.
the root.
Does he have his rollout?
Oh,
He hasn't leveled anything up yet, and I like this decision. He waited, made sure he was safe, and then, yeah, he didn't want to waste buying rollout there.
Yeah, definitely no need to roll. He's just going to take the poke, go ahead and back. Now they know what every ability is that the red team has. Sylvanas has his root, Bastet has her 2, Chuck has his 1. Granted, it's not bad for any of those players to get what they got, but now at least they know if they fight at level 1. So
I was
weaken.
really surprised that the Rama didn't skill up anything. Most players would have freaked out, so it is something to note.
No, that's just, yeah, that's very good.
Yeah, I mean, he recognized that the only 2 in front of him were the Sylvanas and the Bastet, and that the Sylvanas had leveled up his root. He didn't have the pull. He didn't have to worry about getting pulled back. And just held it.
I was hoping the Sylvanas was not going to level his pull there.
It's so risky.
Yeah,
it wasn't a secured
exactly.
kill. And even if it is, it's like if you have to level up your pool to secure the kill, that skill shot is not an easy skill shot ever.
Yeah.
Like, it's never worth leveling up your pool.
So we have Dougie again in the mid lane here. We have pretty standard start coming out from both teams. Blue team elected not to go with speed buff. Do you agree with that there, Weekend? Would you be worried about a Bastet chalk lane just dominating you early and losing your speed buff to this Bastet?
Anytime you're against a Chalk, I'm worried about being pushed out and getting out rotated, honestly. Chalk has amazing wave clear, amazing bully potential. I just can't get over the fact that these red side junglers are not rotating out of lane quickly. That's
Yeah,
a
I mean,
free
definitely.
feedback.
They have the lane control earlier here. I would have really liked to see the Bastet hit the archers there with their 2, auto-attacked each of the melee, and then, you know, ran out of this lane quickly. But,
Especially against a Nox.
yeah.
It's just
Definitely.
you have a lot of setup with the Nox, and even the Whirlpool coming out from Poseidon can slow her and put her in a bad spot. And I don't think she knows she's getting ganked. I mean, I don't know who's been calling this out, but that should have been called out sooner. I mean, obviously
This
she
Nox
was,
is bullying the Poseidon, though.
yeah, obviously it was okay, but you always want to be careful of that.
You know, it could
That's
have been
another
the
thing.
Nox trying to clear the wave and maybe wanted that 2v1 fight.
That's true. That's
I
true.
mean, the fight with minions, it's pretty much a 2v2, except you have things to help you body block.
oh man, this
Yeah,
Poseidon
I,
is just
I think the Nox could have won it.
Yeah, definitely. Nox doing a great job poking out the Poseidon. Now that they're not going to be able to go for that red buff, Poseidon's going to elect to stay. This is kind of risky here with the range on Nox's 3. It's her 3. She's really just controlling these two right now, and it's going to be hard for the Bastet to do anything in this mid lane.
Yeah, that's a really solid play coming out from the Nox. The jungle is not backing it up though. There's no invade potential. There's no aggression. These are the little things that, like, this Nox is making a great play, but his team is not making it shine.
Right, right. So she's going to go ahead and back here. Nemesis is now finally in mid. Only going to pick up the 3 archers, and she is going to get poked down quite low. And now there's... You don't really want to go do that red without the mid laner, so... What do you do here right now?
You back and you go straight to mid Harpy. She's wasted too much time. I think around 10 seconds ago she should have been backing, or she would have made it to mids. Now, if the other team looks to fight, which they should, they're going to be at an advantage.
Okay.
yeah. They don't have any vision on her though. She's like she's sitting at the like, okay, I don't have an advantage. The right side Harpies are the typically I don't feel like we have the advantage. We want safe Harpies side. But also the Bastet and the Poseidon are just sitting under tower. They're not even looking to peek it. There they go. They're heading over now.
Yeah, it's
they
that
get
lack of
To
vision.
peek it?
yeah, they're just peeking it, man. So it looks like we'll see traded out Harpies. Pool just barely
The thing I
missing.
look
They're gonna
from
go on this Geb.
players-
Yeah, Dougie's like trying to get back into this, but he's very wary of his positioning. The Bastet's really far out of position though.
I
Bastet
like the
might be
Nox
in trouble
cutting off
here.
both
That's
lanes.
Good
The
kill.
Nox really just cut off both lanes. Even if Duo had
Yep.
not rotated, the Nox really shut everything down.
Nox is really impressing me right now. So far, we've seen a lot of good Nox players coming out, and she's really just doing everything right. I mean,
I've been impressed. So, you know, one thing about this is it's you get basically one shot, right? One opportunity, right, to make it all happen. And Dougie has actually been filling in for many teams. And every single game, Dougie has done phenomenal. I do have to say. Every single game I've seen Dougie in, he has done a phenomenal job on every team. So it's not something that it's like, I did really well one game, I outshined how I normally perform. He is very consistently doing well in all these Combine games.
We're seeing an invade here finally on the speed. This is what I like to see.
Yeah, this is what they need to do. The Bastet can't really do much. Double Hog's going to secure it, but the rest of the team will rotate. I think this Herc needs to back up because the Poseidon is rotating in. They got the speed. They just need to run.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be okay.
Now, the Herc made.
That's a really good whirlpool.
Yeah, they might not have picked it up. I think Driving Strike was coming up soon without that Apollo ult. I think they made poor decisions there to not just immediately run. They spent too much time kind of like prancing around. I mean, they kept turning around. The Hercules didn't know which path he wanted to take and like went left and right 3 different times.
It was a good turnaround though. The full rotation from the red
For
team.
sure.
Now they're going for gold.
Fantastic.
Definitely the things I like to see.
Yeah, we definitely need to ask about the communication in this game. See who's making these calls because they're doing it right.
Yeah, 100%. I hope they pull this out. Yeah, they're even zoning correctly. The Apollo played that perfectly.
Dougie's actually probably going to turn this fight around unless they turn on him. He's picked up 1 free kill. Oh man, he missed a couple abilities to secure the 2nd kill, and now it could be turned on him. But I guess the rest of the team is rotating in. I think this Herc just needs to stop chasing the Bastet and Sylvanas. Okay, they'll secure it anyway.
It's a great play from the Nox coming in and turning the fight and kind of negating that Gold Fury, but the red team should have backed out. That's something that's really common. People want to fight after they get Gold Furies, but they already used all their ults and everything to get to where they were. And I just really feel like they should have backed off.
look at the pressure coming out from Nox with low health, low mana, knowing the Poseidon didn't have anything available.
It's the fact that he knew he had enough mana to maybe do 1 ability, and that 1 ability wasn't going to kill him.
Yeah, definitely. Good pick there by Link playing the Bastet to pick up the kill on the Rom, who overstayed his welcome just a little bit.
That just seems to really be the theme of this game right now, is everyone's just staying way too... Even this Chalk, like, even if he picks up this kill, he put himself in such a bad position that there's very little chance for him to get out.
Oh, Dougie! Dougie!
Was that a lazy back?
Sort of, yeah. I mean, there probably was nothing he could do to get out of that, so...
No, yeah. I'm surprised that Chalk is still alive.
Yeah,
And
they're
he's probably going to live.
I think it's people miss too many abilities.
Like,
they need to stop chasing it.
Good job at Bastet to come in behind, though.
Yeah, and meanwhile,
really
the
like
Bastet
that.
countered the speed. So she got the pick, noticed everyone chasing Chalk, and looked to take advantages around the map. And
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Back
Most
and
players would've
forth.
been like, all right, my team's dead, and I'm just going to go do my own thing. But he actually picked up a kill, stole speed, and just got another kill right there. That's
Yeah,
really
I mean-
good awareness.
I mean, back and forth, both teams just seem to be overextending way too much.
Yeah, I completely agree.
So,
Chalk diving was really sketchy for me. I did not like that play to begin with.
It's like even if he gets a kill, he should have died. Like he got out, but he realistically, in a competitive game, he's going to die if people are hitting
That's
their
something
abilities.
you need to look at. Even if he had gotten the kill, what was there to gain? There's no gold fury. Mid RPs have just been done. I mean, there is some jungle, which they took anyway, but really there isn't that. It's the risk and reward is not worth it.
So we see a couple of kills coming out into the duo lane there. The trade was ADC for an ADC, but a support picked up the kill. I mean, was it worth it?
That's never worth it.
It's never worth. You heard it here
Never.
first. So every time
This
Incon
Nemesis
gets a
is
kill,
falling
he just
behind.
screams, "It wasn't worth."
That needs to be a sub notification for a weekend.
Just-
Or Incon, like it's never worth it. Like support getting a kill, it's never worth it.
Never.
So who's really been shining for you? We noticed the Nox has been bullying a lot. Some poor decision making from really both solo laners on staying too far and out of position. The duo lane I haven't really seen too much, but they've both been pretty aggressive.
For me, it's the Nox and the Bastet on the other team.
Yeah, I would
the
have to
Bastet's been making really subtle positioning and plays and hasn't really been missing anything. Has been pulling through, has taken jungle, even defended his own jungle. Yeah, they took his speed, but he ended up with a kill. I think he's really coming through here.
Yeah, I would definitely have to agree with that. It definitely, for me, it's going to be the Nox is playing exceptionally well. The Bastet, though, not, outshining by any means like any higher level players. She is playing the way that she needs to be playing to make Bastet work. She's sort of not, like diving in incredibly hard. She's using her leap back efficiently.
I think she's had pretty good ults too.
Yeah.
Here's another thing too. I'm looking at these team comps when we go into these games. Bastet was a great choice against a Nox, a Nemesis. Like it was a really good choice in my opinion. So that's another thing I look at.
Yeah, definitely. And even against the Aram, it's still a pretty good choice. Like their entire team, if you think about it. I mean, Bastet does really well against Herc and Geb. It's very hard to get away from that. You could find picks on them anytime they rotate. So good choice with the Bastet there.
I'm more disappointed in the support play in this game, to be completely honest with you. I feel like these supports could be setting up a lot of kills with pulls and ults and everything, and that's really what I'd like to see. I mean, I talked about the jungle earlier, how they can set the game up usually, but a support can do the same thing, especially early game.
Right. Okay. So, Kevin, do you have the same two choices then for your?
For sure, I'd say the
players
Nox
to
is
watch?
shining, but I mean we've already highlighted Dougie multiple times in
definitely.
mini games. After that, the Bastet, even that, like look, she's just hitting all of her stuff.
Yeah, I mean it was just a good rotation.
Mechanically, she's playing Link has been playing incredibly well mechanically.
I definitely agree.
Yep, just solid play.
And also with stealing buffs, rotating when she needs to. She's probably the one person that's not overextending, I'd
Now,
say. Each
why don't
fight.
we take a look at this fight here?
Making the calls, because if it is the Bastet, that's the type of player you want to pick up.
Unfortunately, we don't have a coach for this one, or a coach or scout. They're actually currently on another game, so focusing on that. But we'll see if we can grab them later, possibly.
Yeah, if you guys are looking at picking up a player, I would go to them and see who is doing the communicating, because that's huge.
Yeah, especially when you're trying to form a team. One of the weaker things that could really shut down. I just want to point out great play by Apollo there. He went into 3 people, used his Mesmerize properly, used his dash properly, used his So Beautiful properly. Everything was just well played, well executed, and it showed when he picked up the kill and got out with full health almost. One of the biggest things for a new team is going to be communication. You may not be the best mechanical team, but if you're communicating and working together well as a team, you are going to outshine every other team you play against.
Even at the top level, there's some players who don't have the mechanics I think they need, but it's really their communication and their game knowledge on when to be, where to be, why they're doing something is really what puts them at the top of
like
it.
Weekend.
Like Weekend.
He's
kind of
like
bad
a
on both
professional
ends,
player. Shot calling is one of the rarest things. Most teams have one player who does shot calling.
Right.
And it's not because that's what's needed. It's because he's the only person who can do it. So if you find those players who can do that, it's really rare, and it's kind of what you form a team around.
Yeah, definitely. And there have been a couple of those players that we've heard about come out of this from the Combine, which is really good to have a leader like that.
This
So-
Bastet is playing phenomenally. I mean, she did get picked up there. She went a little bit too deep, but I think the Sylvanas and Poseidon should have been in better position.
Yeah, definitely. We saw the Sylvanas.
I don't think that
come
was
out there
Bastet. I think that was Sylvanas and Poseidon not being in position. All right,
I
goes.
do want to point out
Okay.
that the Bastet is someone I actually talk to on a regular basis, and she does watch my YouTube videos. So
Oh,
I might
okay.
be helping
Oh,
her out.
this sounds like a little bit of bias now.
I'm just saying.
I will say though that I think the Bastet has been playing phenomenally. I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, and
I
the
agree with
Apollo's
you.
starting to grow on me too here. He just picked up another kill there. He's just playing Apollo like he's meant to be played, and that's always good to see.
Yeah, I'd say definitely, in my opinion, I say Dougie's strong, very strong here, if not probably strongest. Bastet there, right there with him, and then like you said, probably the Apollo has been.
I mean, just
very
look at
aggressive.
right there.
This Apollo
That is the
making
perfect
plays.
play right there.
I mean, we haven't even know.
Definitely.
He's 1,500 gold up by himself
Yeah, definitely.
on this ROM.
He just
I think
played
that's just
that
one of
gold
those
fury.
situations.
Ugh.
It's just one of those situations where ADCs are not gonna take over the early game, and he's ahead mid game, and he's taking it over now. He's
Yeah,
showing
exactly.
he's there.
I mean, I still love to see what he just did. That was one of the issues we saw last Combine, is there was really nobody zoning and making sure that the supports had an easy time securing the objectives.
Yeah,
He just
supports
did
can't-
that while DPS.
Supports can't zone,
Yeah.
and many people make that mistake. A lot of people think, oh, you have the ultimate, you have the knock-up or the stun, you have to zone. They can't zone. They have to be there on Gold Fury, either tanking it or at least in position to hog the second it hits that 25 percentile mark.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, guys, though, that's going to be the end of this game. We highlighted a couple players. Take a look out for Dougie. Take a look out for this Bastet named Link, the Apollo named RX Kill 50, and I think that was it.
Yep,
That was it? Okay.
We'll see you next time, guys.